'cause he's a tariff man. Tariff man, taxing all of the foreign goods. Taxing all of the foreign goods.
Taxing all the foreign goods.
Yeah, we had a little discussion about this earlier in the show, and I tried to kind of walk through basic economic principles. I didn't get very far with a lot of people. But what about this? Let me try this angle.
All right.
What about how Trump's tariffs? I'm a tariff man. We're right now taking in billions of tariffs, billions of dollars in tariffs, make America rich again. We're going to tax our way to prosperity, Trump policy, Trump tariffs. Tariffs, period. No matter whose name you attach to him, Smoot, Hawley, Trump. How about the beneficiaries? How are they doing? The intended beneficiaries, steel and aluminum. AK Steel Holding Company, Century Aluminum, all down double digits as of 4 months into the tariffs. Double-digit declines in share price, hundreds of millions of dollars in market valuation lost. And then, of course, we know what's happening to steel and aluminum users, and we know what's happening to agribusiness, soybean farmers, for example, because we want to trade anecdotes. The Trump tariff proponents, or the Trump opponents, so whatever he does is good, and it's okay if he thinks he can suspend the forces of economics. Well, you just want to use anecdotes about who he's protecting. Well, here are the people he's protecting, and this is what winning a trade war looks like. Double-digit stock price declines and hundreds of millions of dollars in market valuation loss. The problem I think you have on the producer side in the U.S. is that the industry is still as inefficient as it has been, said Michael Widmer, the head of metal markets research at Bank of America. Okay. Temporary trade truce on Monday, full-on celebration of tariffs on Tuesday.
And then we lose money in the deal.
Not good for American consumers. No. I mean, I don't know how anybody thinks that if this is his actual posture, that all of the hope associated with Kudlow's pronouncements and Trump's intermittent support for those pronouncements, that this is all the means to get to the ends of a lower tariff environment, the removal of trade barriers, zero subsidies, zero tariffs, that laudable goal that Kudlow repeats with religious fervor. If that's not it, per Trump's tweet yesterday, then we got a real problem on our hands, and so does President Trump. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, chief economist for CNN and Wall Street Journal columnist. Steve, thanks for being with us.
Go away. I don't want to talk to you today.
Exactly. Well, I'm a tariff man? I mean, I'm a tax man. That's what he said.
Well, I knew I was going to get a stern lecture from you and Amy today, so yes. I was gripping for this. But look, I think here's the thing that I think you guys miss. We are in a Cold War with China right now. China is engaged in incredibly abusive trade practices. They steal, they cheat. Trump is basically standing toe-to-toe with Beijing. And I think what happened here was over the weekend, the White House thought they had a deal. They had a handshake deal with President Xi. But guess what? We learned again that the Chinese, you can't take them for their word. They in addition to cheating and stealing, they also lie. And so what we thought they had agreed to, they didn't think they had agreed to, and the whole thing kind of, at least for temporarily now, blew up. Trump said that, look, we won't slap tariffs on you for 90 days if we can get these, this trade deal done. I think that the market totally overreacted here. The investors and you, Dan and Amy, still don't get Donald Trump. This guy is a master negotiator. He is going to win on China. I want to say that again to your audience.
So
Trump is going to win here.
Okay.
And when he wins here, you two are going to eat your words, and you're going to say, "You're right. Donald Trump was right all along."
I want him to
China's
win, but this is not the way to go about it.
They're going to stop stealing our intellectual property. They're going to open up their markets to American companies. It's going to be good for American workers, and I rest my case.
Well, why? And you have to admit, that his tweet yesterday when he said President Xi and
No,
I wanted this deal to happen.
I hated the tweet.
But if not,
Look,
remember, I'm the tariff man.
I know. Look, Amy, you're like these liberals. You take Trump literally not seriously. What Trump was doing there was basically engaging in some, brinkmanship. He was basically saying to the Chinese, look, you better get serious about making these concessions, or we're going to slap you with I'm tariff man. I'm going to slap you with these punitive tariffs. I'm not in favor of the steel tariffs, by the way. I think I agree with you guys. The steel and aluminum tariffs have been a disaster, no question about it. So I'm totally with you on that. Where I part company, I think, with you guys is I think we can't. If you're in an abusive relationship with someone, you either got to change their behavior or get out of the relationship. And I want Dan to explain to me why we should continue to allow them to cheat and steal, and they have giant tariffs on us. Why should we not retaliate?
Because you poke your eye out, so I poke my eye out. Doesn't make any sense.
Except that this is going to do much more. Look, they have warehouses full of merchandise that they can't sell in the United States right now. It's putting a real pinch on their economy. They are suffering as a result of this.
Right.
They are going to back down. You just got to keep the pressure on them because we can't live with the status quo.
Why will they back down, Steve, other than make overtures that they'll back down but not back down? And here's the question isn't intellectual piracy, the offloading of American technology, that is not a bug in their communist command control system. That's a feature. That's their business model. You're saying they're going to give up their business model.
You're exactly right.
They're going to give up their business model.
We shouldn't be doing business with them. You can't, I think Trump has a good point, and I want you, maybe I need Amy's reaction to this. I mean, what Trump was asked the other day when he was asked about, starting this trade war with China, he said, look, he laughed. He said, I didn't start this trade war with China. They started it 10 years ago, and we didn't even recognize we were in a trade war with them. And they continue to, I talk to businessmen and women all the time, as you guys do. They say it's almost impossible to do business in China because, you have to give up your trade secrets, you have to give up your patents, sometimes you have to even give up ownership.
But we're going to have to
company.
change their culture. I have a friend who lived there for a year, and she told me yesterday, she said the difference is in China, they think one man's idea is everyone's idea.
Exactly.
And she said, but in the U.S., if it's your idea, then you get a patent, and you're the one who makes money.
Well, exactly. So we can't sell stuff to. That's like saying, we believe in thievery and you don't believe in thievery. It's like you have a trade deal with your next door neighbor, but they keep stealing from you. That's not trade. That's not free trade, Dan, Amy. That's theft. And it's not just the theft; it's the fact that they have. How can you justify the gigantic tariffs that they impose on us? It sounds like what you guys are just for is we just buy anything from China, but they don't have to do anything to accommodate our businesses. And I'm sorry, I don't see the world that way.
Are we to look at economics through the eye of the consumer or the eye of the state?
Well, this is America first, guys. We're going to put American companies first, and when you put American companies first, you put American businesses first. And if people don't have jobs, they can't buy stuff. It's that simple. And there's no question about it that these abusive China behavior. You go to places where the factories have left. In part, that's because they have lower labor costs, but in part, it's because we can't sell our stuff over there.
Do you find it problematic? Gamesmanship is sort of what you said it was, but we're taking in billions in tariffs, make America rich again. That's what the president says. Does that not sound like taxing our way to prosperity?
I don't like tariffs. I said this on CNN last night. I said, the one lesson we should have learned from yesterday is, I don't like tariffs. Investors don't like tariffs. It's bad for workers. And so I'm not in favor of tariffs. But what I am in favor of is taking action against China. I really do believe that we're facing the new Soviet Union in China. And I think we have to wake up to that. They are not marching towards freedom. They're marching away from freedom. They're human rights violations. They're theft.
They're communist thugs.
Mercantilist policies.
Right.
I just don't look. I'm all in favor of free trade with Europe and Canada, and Mexico, and countries that play by the rules. I just don't see how you can have a free trade arrangement with a country that is so abusive in terms of their and they are laughing behind our backs. And incidentally, the reason I think ultimately that China is going to make concessions, they can't grow if they don't. We're using leverage, and that's the thing you don't understand about Donald Trump. He is a master negotiator because he understands the concept of leverage. We have leverage over China because they have to have access to America's market, or their economy will not grow. Already their economic growth rate has been cut in half. Their stock market is down 20%. I mean, either they're going to suffer a lot of pain or they're going to change their behavior.
Let me switch gears and just get your reaction to Macron. He has some egg on his face in Paris. Literally, he got pelted with eggs when he spoke at the site of the riots sponsored by those yellow vests.
This is an amazing story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an amazing story of how wacko the green movement is, not just in the United States, but around the world. These people, I've said many times, I've said it on your show, the most dangerous movement in the world today is the radical green movement. They're crazy people. Listen to what they're saying, folks. If you call yourself a member of the Green Party, these are people who want to destroy our energy production. Listen to what Alexandra Cortez is saying. We're not going to use any more oil, gas, coal, nuclear power. We're going to shut down American energy. Somehow we're going to, run our, economy on solar and wind power. We get about 4 or 5% of our energy today from that. It will dramatically raise the cost of energy. It's happening in Paris and in France, which is supposed to be a quote progressive country. And guess who's rioting? The farmers, the students, the labor union workers, because they don't want to pay $7 a gallon for gasoline. And folks, if we follow that model, the wacko, climate change, green energy, folks, we're headed. That's exactly what they want in the United States: $6 and $7 gasoline and a doubling of your utility prices. And won't that would be wonderful for the American economy?
All right, he is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, chief economist for CNN. He's got a hungry dog we got to let him get to. Steve, thanks for joining us,
folks. Trumponomics is working.
All right, thanks, Steve.
And he joined us on turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.